Hi friends, Tony DeWitt here, Missouri appellate attorney and a guy who likes to make the law make sense on YouTube. Here's what we're discussing today. As I said the other day, it is better not to know a lot of things than to know a lot of things that are wrong. So pay attention in this short little clip here. I would like you to pay attention and see if you can figure out how many things this girl gets wrong about her brother's rights under the Fourth Amendment.
What's going on? I just want to know what's going on because I drove by and I seen y'all searching through my brother's trash can, so I'm just wondering what's going on. Well, someone's got to let me know what's going on.
Hey, car.
You live here?
I come here often and I drove by and see you guys searching my brother's garbage can, so I am just wondering what's going on.
Okay,
And there's cars out here.
You don't live here, you don't need to know right now.
Actually, I do. Mario, what's going on?
Tor, you have an upkeep runner.
Credit cards and stuff in the garbage bin, all the break-ins. The place reeks like weed. I think we could secure it quick.
Hey, Tisha.
Police department! Make yourself known if you're in here. Do it now!
They said they smell you.
Y'all don't smell no weed, so y'all can
Stay
get
out here.
Stay out.
Stay
I don't
out.
smell weed.
No,
My brother
stay
don't
out.
smoke weed. So
Stay
did
out.
y'all check the neighbor's house if y'all smell weed?
Stay out.
No, sir. Y'all don't have the right to do that. Get out of my brother's house.
Turn
Sir,
around.
don't grab
Put your
me.
hands behind your back.
Okay, that's fine.
Stay off, please.
They don't have the right to do this. Smell Mario's house. It don't smell like weed in there. No,
Stay
let
out
me
of the
say-
house.
now.
Justin, just go get
Go
right
back in the car.
Justin,
Get
go
back
get
in the
I'm
car.
finna get
Now.
right back
There
out.
seems to be almost a universal belief that if the police are going to search a property or a car or someone's person, that they just automatically need a warrant. And that's not the case. That's not ever been the case. Because the Fourth Amendment does not bar all searches and seizures without a warrant. It bars unreasonable searches and seizures. So, to understand what the confines of the Fourth Amendment are, we need to look at a few of the exceptions to the rules with respect to searches under the Fourth Amendment. Now, the first, and obviously the easiest of these, is consent. When the cop pulls you over and says, "Hey, I'd like to search your car. Would you mind if I did that?" I generally recommend, if you are pulled over by the police and you have something in your car that is unlawful, whether that be cannabis or some other form of recreational drug, that it's a good idea not to consent to a search, because in many cases they'll find the stuff you have so expertly hidden. There are a lot of ways to hide things inside of a vehicle or inside of a house, but usually police are pretty aware of all the different ways that that can be done. The next thing is to develop probable cause to get a search warrant. If the cop goes up to the car and says, "I want to search this vehicle," and you say, "No, I don't think so. Am I free to go?" And he says no, well, then you have to remain there, at least for a reasonable time. And no court has ever defined precisely what a reasonable time is, although they have said that in certain cases the time was unreasonable. Basically what happens is they call for a canine, and the canine does a drug sniff. If it hits on the vehicle, then they're going to get a warrant, and they're going to get a chance to search, and they're going to come to you and say, "Look, we're going to get a warrant because the dog hit on your car, and we're going to get a warrant, so you could just make this a lot easier for us by consenting." Again, don't do that, because then you waive any defect in the dog's sniff and their warrant application. So, again, you don't do that. If you're smart, you don't say, "Oh, well, I guess they got me." You play it out. Because a lot of times they can't get the drug dog there in a reasonable amount of time. The dog can be in some other part of the county or some other part of the state, and all of a sudden they have to let you go. So again, you don't ever consent if you have something to hide. Now, if they stopped me on the side of the road and said, "Can I stop, can I do a search of your pickup truck?" I would say, absolutely. Just make sure you put everything back and in the same condition that you pulled it out. And they wouldn't find anything. Everything that I have in my truck, I have absolute right to have, and none of it is contraband. So I don't have any problem with the police doing a search. I mean, heck, that's what gets that's what gets them through the night. They ought to come and do it because they're not going to get anything on me doing that. Now I know there are a lot of people who think that they plant drugs and that kind of stuff. That's really not a smart thing for them to do because planting drugs leaves DNA, and DNA can be tested, and that's not a good thing. So my view of that is that that's not particularly something to worry about. But consent is the one big bugaboo because if they go through some other route and they come to you and they say, look, we got this and we got this and we got this, and it adds up to probable cause and we're going to get a warrant, let them get a warrant because it may not all add up the way they say it does. I know you'll find this odd, but police officers do have the right to lie to you in order to get you to do something. Because I guess the theory is it takes a thief to catch a thief. It takes, bad conduct to ferret out other bad conduct. But cops do have the right to lie to you in interrogations and in other things. So again, I think it's best to just play it out. So the next reason that a police officer doesn't have to get a warrant to search you, your person, is if that search is incident to a lawful arrest. And if it's incident to a lawful arrest, he gets to search you to make sure you don't have weapons and that you don't have contraband that you're going to bring into the jail. And so, again, that's a reason that they do that for the protection of other prisoners in the jail. They also do it for your own sort of protection to make sure you don't get a second charge if you've already, been arrested for one thing. One problem that frequently comes up is when there is a vehicle seizure. Some states have this idea called criminal speed. Missouri's one of them. If Missouri Highway Patrol catches you going more than 25 miles an hour over the speed limit, they can arrest you. Now, county officers can't, city officers can't for criminal speed, but Highway Patrol officers have the right to arrest you and not give you a citation. So they can arrest you, and then because they've arrested you, your car is sitting there. They have to make sure that nothing happens to your car, so they have your car towed to an impoundment lot, and then they do an inventory search. And the reason they do the inventory search is to make sure they have a list of everything that they found in the car. And it's usually verified by at least 2 people. And the reason that they do that is to make sure that you don't later claim that they stole $500 out of the console. Another area of concern where you don't need a warrant if you're a police officer is where you already have probable cause and there is an exigent circumstance. What is an exigent circumstance? Police officer knows that he's been called to a residence for, a domestic violence case. And he knocks on the door and he hears a woman screaming. And somebody on the other side won't let him in because they say you don't have a warrant. Well, he can kick the door and go in under exigent circumstances if he truly believes that the person in there is in danger of death or serious bodily injury. Exigent circumstances include that. They include a number of other things. And one of those is the potential for destruction of evidence. So, if you have a situation where there could be someone taking action to destroy things while you're in the business of securing a search warrant, you can go in, clear the residence, pull all the people out, and then you have the place secured until such time as the court issues a warrant. And again, that's perfectly lawful. There is a great article out of the Vanderbilt Law Review. It's available on Google, and it says, Securing the Premises Exception, a Search for the Proper Balance. And it goes through how this doctrine sort of evolved. It's worth your time. The police also don't need a warrant when what they want to seize is in plain view. So if they walk up to your car and they shine their flashlight in your car and they see, a bloody knife on the seat, it could be that you just got through carving up a steak, or it could be that, you're the lone wolf bandit who's been going around sticking people with that knife. And as a result, they can seize that under the plain view doctrine, because when they looked in, they saw it. There, you don't have any reasonable expectation of privacy on something that the cops can see when they look in your car. And then finally, one of the more serious issues is abandoned property. So when you take something and you throw it in your trash can, whether that trash can is right next to your house or whether it's out on the street, you are deemed to have abandoned the property that you have put in the trash can. And so you don't have any expectation of privacy in abandoned property. And as a result, the police can search trash cans for evidence. So now let's go back and look at the number of ways that the young lady was wrong about her brother's rights and her rights with respect to search and seizure. First of all, she comes up and says, you can't go in there because you smell weed. Well, weed is indeed a controlled substance, and possession of it is, and especially its overwhelming odor, would tend to be something that would be probable cause to search the place for other drugs. And as a result, you absolutely have the right to secure the premises and get a search warrant. And that's what happened. The lady also objected to them going into the house without a warrant, but they were going in to secure the premises, which again is exactly what the law allows them to do. And then the other thing that she was a little bit upset about was them searching the trash cans where they found purses and billfolds. And when you find abandoned purses and numerous purses and billfolds, purses especially when there's just one lone guy living there, it tends to suggest that there might be a reason why those were thrown in the trash can. Perhaps because somebody thought that, if they were in the trash can, the cops would just never to think to look there. I can't imagine what kind of thinking goes into that, but okay. Maybe that's what happens. And as a result, they absolutely can go in there and find that. And in this particular case, it's on Midwest Safety, and as I said, that's a good channel, and I recommend they actually do some explaining on some of this in that video. And the reason I selected these clips is because they show how dramatically people have not been educated about their rights under the Fourth Amendment, and how badly they need better education on those rights. So, trying to fulfill a public service here. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, all that stuff we always ask you to do. You can always email me at the address above. If you have the opportunity today, do a kindness for somebody and then come on back down here tomorrow. Join me at the beach and we'll think of something else to talk about.
If you like this video, here are a few others you might try, and don't forget to subscribe. Have a terrific day, guys.